Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. We're taking a quick look at our crypto market overview for Bitcoin and kind of seeing what's going on. Starting with the obvious here, we saw the price action so far pull back off this $120,000 resistance range. We're stuck between 116 and 120. That's a simple way to understand it. There's also breaking news, as they say, the European Union is planning to impose a 30% tariff on the US. So typical tariff stuff where the price jumps up and jumps down. This may or may not be related, but it is relevant in a sense nonetheless. Now, what we're also going to look at here is this backend data here with ETF net inflow. Now, I talked about this yesterday. We had a negative outflow of Bitcoin on Sunday, the 20th, and that essentially is like an early indication of a pullback. We mentioned this yesterday, saying that the price action, even though we're breaking our descending trend there and we're looking at a bullish type of breakout, that price action stunned out at that resistance range. And the truth is, when we look at the history too, and I showed this to you yesterday, this is that same time frame. We had a power of 3 trade set up where the price action worked itself into an accumulation phase. We had a negative ETF outflow, and then of course we saw the manipulation phase to the upside after the price action essentially bottomed out here and trapped late shorts. So we very well could be in the midst of something like that right now. So I wouldn't get too hasty to try to short and get all crazy, of course, but that's kind of where we're at there. Quick little congrats. Speaking of shorts, we took some nice profits on a 42% bonk short position and a SUI short too as well from last week. That's our third profit target there. So things are looking good there. If you are curious and you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site link down below. There's a discount available for the remainder of this month that expires on July 31st. So let's quickly look at I'd like to touch on alt season index because people get the question a lot like, hey, how's Bitcoin affecting altcoins? And the simple way to understand is that we are down yet today from yesterday, right? So a lot of profits are being taken on altcoins. So the key takeaway I would say for altcoins is if you're trading them, just keep buying these dips. Every time the price pulls back, the price rips up again. It's pretty consistent. Until we lose 116,000 for Bitcoin, it's safe to presume that altcoins are going to be pretty consistent and essentially bottoming out at their local highs. Every time the previous highs are broken, the new highs are established, or new lows are used as previous highs. Either way you look at it, let's do this here. Let's go ahead and look at the back-end liquidation data for Bitcoin, kind of get a better understanding where we're at here, and we'll go from there. And obviously, please hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance, folks. We're getting a lot more positive feedback and more views on the videos here, so really appreciate that. I'm glad you appreciate the new format. It's actually more fun and enjoyable for me as well. So take a look here at Bitcoin last 7 days on the left. As per usual, 120 to 124 is that upper range of liquidation. And then once more, we got 114 to 116. These are just two areas that keep teasing us that never seem to happen, just based on the simple fact that we got strong resistance and support at those ranges. Macro tells us the same thing roughly, not much to note there. Liquidation long delta has shifted bearish. I don't know if you can see this here. There's like a little red blip there, basically telling us that we are now at break even and or more shorts than longs in the market. Okay, so generally speaking, when this shift occurs, you want to trade in the direction of that trend. So I would recommend considering either a short position on Bitcoin. I'm not referring to altcoins specifically, but Bitcoin itself does appear to be wanting to come back down lower. Just note 116,000, a solid support level. Consider securing profits in that range because the likelihood of breaking that lower range is, it's increasing as the days go on, but it's also it's proven to be super strong. So support at 116 is a very relevant thing. Open interest at 117 and 116.6. That's the local areas of support based on open interest. Take a look at the daily time frame and kind of see where we're at here. We can start with just kind of get a baseline. Bitcoin dominance is starting to pivot here. I mentioned this yesterday too with my altcoin analysis. So if you weren't sure that it was another fake out, mainly because Bitcoin dominance is hitting its ascending trend line. So this isn't a guarantee. This is never like 100% certainty, but the odds of the price action going the opposite direction is higher because of this. In other words, altcoins we're starting to run on to the upside, right? As Bitcoin dominance pulled back, money flowing away from Bitcoin going into alts. Now we're seeing that reverse action here, and coincidentally, Bitcoin price is going down. So what that tells us here is that with Bitcoin dominance going basically up in a lot of ways. It's been up in the last 24 hours, and the price of Bitcoin going up, we can presume altcoins are going to go down. However, we can presume alts are going to dump if Bitcoin price goes down. That's roughly where we're at right now, more specifically. So it doesn't mean we just got to run for the hills, but it does imply you should consider securing profits on some longs if you are in them. You should have done that, honestly, in hindsight, 24, 40 hours ago. But once more, hindsight's 2020, right? We can't fault ourselves for that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at the daily time frame on Bitcoin and kind of go from there. Once more, we had this bullish type of pennant breakout. It's already broken out, folks, so it doesn't mean it can't continue higher. It just implies that it was stunned out by our range-bound resistance here. Once more, 120,000. So we took a look here. We're still above our ascending trend. Things are still looking peachy here for the most part, right? We're hanging out right there at 118. That's our point of control here locally. Zooming out, of course, it's 107. But if we do just kind of focus on the local range here, we're still in decent shape. So there's a solid chance we do pivot here and bounce, right? But once more, we're starting to see this divergence here starting to continue to progress, showing us that we're losing momentum. And the same thing as well with stochastic and traditional RSI remaining below our moving average. Those are some indications, early indications I mentioned yesterday, that are important to note and to recognize that further downside is a little more on the practical side. We've got a MACD divergence once more. Stochastic is swinging down and we're losing 50 in the RSI. While we didn't really have a foothold on that 50 plus area for the RSI, we can see our money flow index is lower than the traditional RSI, which is actually a very bad sign. It implies more money is coming out and the price action is not oversold or overbought, therefore continuation progression to the downside. So I think it's a distinct probability we see 116 as a good chance here. And hey, who knows, our short at 120 for Bitcoin that we took roughly a week ago, we might actually hit our profit target. I think it's at like 115.8, and look at this. The price came down to 115.875 recently. So it's just the market for you folks. You want to make sure to secure profits when you can. Overall though, 4-hour time frame is showing divergences. Daily time frame is showing early signs. There's a lot of reasons why I feel the price action should continue to progress at least to 116, possibly to fill our CME gap at 115.7 to 114.4. That's our golden pocket. I mean, honestly, an entry at 114 seems very, very likable right now at this point, pending we don't have any ridiculous fundamental catalyst to push us any lower. There is a fair value gap as low as 112,000 or 111.5. Okay, so that's all there. Anyways, I'll post our playout chart in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It's all available for you there. Hope you learned something today. Comment below if you get a chance. Like, subscribe, follow. Please help grow the channel. And thanks again for being an amazing part of my life. I do this for you, for me, for everyone. It's a really good experience. And I can tell you at the end of the day, your comments are very, very wonderful. So thank you. All right. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. We'll see you the next one. Take care of yourself out there.